वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text 12. Yatte jasat bhagavan yudhi saulapanir Visma pita sa girijostram adan nijam me Anye pichaham amumneva kalevarena Prapto mahendra bhavane mahad asanardham Yatte jasata bhagavan yudhisulapanir Visma pita sa girijostram adan nijam me अन्येऽपि चाहम् अमुनेव कलेवरेण प्राप्तो महेन्द्र भवने महदासनार्धम् यत्तेजसात भगवान् युधि शूलपाणिर् विस्मापिता स गिरिजोस्त्रमदान्निजं मे अन्येऽपि चाहम् अमुनैव कलेवरेण प्राप्तो महेन्द्र भवने महदासनार्धम् यत्तेजसात भगवान् युधि शूलपाणिर् विस्मापिता स गिरिजो अन्येऽपि चाहम् अमुनैव कलेवरेण प्राप्तो महेन्द्र भवने महदासनार्धम् यत्तेजसात भगवान् युधि शूलपाणिर् विस्मापिता स गिरिजोस्त्रमदान्निजं मे अन्येऽपि चाहमनुम्नैव कलेवरेण प्राप्तो महेन्द्र भवने महदासनार्धम् माताजी यत्तेजस्तात भगवान् युधि शूलपाणिर् यत्तेजसात भगवान् युधि शूलपाणिर् विस्मापिता स गिरिजोस्त्रमदान्निजं मे अन्येऽपि चाहममुनैव कलेवरेण प्राप्तो महेन्द्र भवने महदासनार्धम्. Word by word translation. Yat, by whose, Tejasa, by influence, Atha, at one time, Bhagavan, the personality of God, Lord Shiva, Yudhi, in the battle, Shulapanihi, one who has a trident in his hand, Vismapitaha, astonished, Sa Girijaha, along with the daughter of the Himalaya mountains, Astram, weapon, Adat, awarded, Nijam, of his own, me, may, unto me, Anye api, so also others, Cha, and, Aham, myself, Amuna, by this, eva, definitely, Kalevarena, by the body, Praptaha, obtained, Maha Indra Bhavane, in the house of Indradev, Mahat, great, Asana Ardham, half elevated seat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. It was by his influence only that in a fight I was able to astonish the personality of God, Lord Shiva, and his wife, the daughter of the Mount Himalaya. Thus he, Lord Shiva, became pleased with me and awarded me his weapon. Other demigods also delivered their respective weapons to me, and in addition, I was able to reach the heavenly planets in this present body and was allowed a half elevated seat. Purport. By the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, all the demigods, including Lord Shiva, were pleased with Arjuna. The idea is that one who is favored by Lord Shiva or any other demigod may not necessarily be favored by the Supreme Lord Krishna. Ravana was certainly a great devotee of Lord Shiva, but he could not be saved from the wrath of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra. And there are many instances like this in the histories of the Puranas. But here is an instance where we can see that Lord Shiva became pleased even in the fight with Arjuna. The devotees of the Supreme Lord know how to respect the demigods. But the devotees of the demigods sometimes foolishly think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is no greater than the demigods. By such a conception, one becomes an offender and ultimately meets with the same end as Ravana and others. The instances described by Arjuna during his friendly dealings with Lord Shri Krishna are instructive for all who may be convinced by the lessons that one can achieve all favors simply by pleasing the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, whereas the devotees or worshippers of the demigods may achieve only partial benefits, which are also perishable, just as the demigods themselves are. Another significance of the present verse is that Arjuna, by the grace of Lord Krishna, was able to reach the heavenly planet even with the self same body and was honored by the heavenly demigod Indradev, being seated with him half elevated. One can reach the heavenly planets by the pious acts recommended in the Shastra in the category of fruitive activities. And as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 9.21, when the reactions of such pious acts are spent, the enjoyer is again degraded to this earthly planet. The moon is also on the level with the heavenly planets. And only persons who have performed virtues only, performing sacrifices, giving charity, and undergoing severe austerities, can be allowed to enter into the heavenly planets after the duration of life of the body. Arjuna was allowed to enter into the heavenly planets in the self-same body simply by the grace of the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible to do so. The present attempts to enter into the heavenly planets by the modern scientists will certainly prove futile because such scientists are not on the level of Arjuna. They are ordinary human beings without any assets of sacrifice, charity, or austerity. The material body is influenced by the three modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. The present population is more or less influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance, and the symptoms for such influence are exhibited in their becoming very lusty and greedy. Such degraded fellows can hardly approach the higher planetary system. Above the heavenly planets, there are many other planets also, which only those who are influenced by goodness can reach. In heavenly and other planets within the universe, the inhabitants are highly intelligent, many more times than the human beings, and they are all pious in the higher and highest mode of goodness. They are all devotees of the Lord, and although their goodness is not unadulterated, still they are known as demigods, possessing the maximum amount of good qualities possible within the material world. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I first beg for the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, all my God brothers, all the wonderful devotees who are listening online as well. I beg for your blessings. And we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse 12. It was by his influence only that in a fight I was able to astonish the personality of God, Lord Shiva, and his wife, the daughter of Mount Himalaya. Thus he, Lord Shiva, became pleased with me and awarded me with his weapon, with his own weapon. Other demigods also delivered their respective weapons to me, and in addition, I was able to reach the heavenly planets in this present body and was allowed a half-elevated seat. Hare Krishna. So, this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, this chapter is actually entitled The Pandavas Retired Timely. And, the background is that Arjuna, who had gone to Dwarka, 36 years have passed, since the Mahabharata war. And Lord Krishna is, he is in Dwarka, the Pandavas are here in their, Hastinapur. But Arjuna, because he knows that, Krishna, he's going to leave now soon because, Gandhari has cursed. So he knows that he's going to leave. So he goes to stay there and he doesn't come back for a very long time. For almost 6-7 months, he doesn't come back. And in the meantime, Yudhishthir sees many bad omens, many ill omens, which indicate to him that looks like, something has happened. Lord Krishna has probably left because such inauspicious things would not happen if the Lord was there. So when Arjuna comes, when he meets Arjuna, he sees Arjuna is completely looking devastated, looking completely morose. And he asks him in various ways in the previous chapter, in many ways he asks him that what happened, did this happen, did that happen? So many things, he doesn't come to the point. Even Yudhishthir knows that it is probably because Lord Krishna has left. Therefore, he is looking so morose and devastated. But Yudhishthir also, sometimes we are afraid to ask the question, When we know the answer, we are afraid to ask the question. कि क्या पता यही बोल रहे हैं. And he asks, and then Arjuna is answering, and then finally Anjuna tells Yudhishthir that yes, that person who was our life and soul, he has left us. And this chapter, very beautifully, Arjuna is explaining, he's acknowledging in these previous verses, first the 10, 11 verses that have happened till now, Arjuna is acknowledging that whatever wonderful things happened in our life till now, whatever nice things happened in our life till now, wherever I was able to show some wonderful power, my brother Bhima was able to show some wonderful power, Arjuna is very grateful. He's very grateful, and he's acknowledging that definitely this is the invisible hand of Krishna, at each stage of my life, which was the cause for whatever amazing things happened in our life. So in the previous verses, he mentions various things. He mentions the Draupadi Swayamvar. Draupadi Swayamvar, in that Swayamvar, for example, there were many people, many great archers and many great warriors were there. But somehow it happened that, and Krishna was also there, Krishna was also watching. And somehow it happened, none of them were successful. Karna was going to come and he would have been successful. But Krishna indicated to Draupadi, Draupadi said, no, he is not born Kshatriya, I don't want, sorry. So then he goes and sits down, and then Arjuna comes in disguise and he wins. Then he mentions the pastime of the Khanda, burning of Khanda forest, where actually Indra was protecting this Maya Danav, I think. And, but that forest has to be burned because Agnidev has requested Krishna and Arjuna that I've had too much ghee. Too much sacrifices have been done, and I had too much ghee. I'm feeling sick. I need to burn something. So he says, take this Khanda forest. So then he burns the Khanda forest, and then there's a fight with Indra, and Arjuna wins. And, like this, he's remembering different pastimes, like the killing of Jarasandh. Now, Jarasandh was so powerful that he had imprisoned hundreds of kings. Like Narkasura imprisoned princesses. Jarasandh imprisoned kings. So you can imagine how powerful he was, right? Just imprisoned them, and he was planning to sacrifice them to Mahabhairav. Because by that sacrifice, he'll become even more powerful. That is what was his understanding. So then Krishna, along with Arjuna and Bhim, went there to, challenge Jarasandh. And in that battle, again, Jarasandh was killed by Bhima. So again, Arjuna is acknowledging with gratitude that it is only by Krishna's grace. The killing of all these Kurus in the battle of Kurukshetra, this killing also, he is acknowledging that this could not have happened. If we carefully read the Mahabharata, okay, the war, especially the war section, we read that section, we will realize how many times Krishna has intervened. When things are going south, when things are going bad in the battle, every time somehow Krishna says something, does something, due to which the battle again comes back, on track. So he's acknowledging that. And in yesterday's verse, he speaks about, this beautiful pastime where Durvasa Muni was sent by Duryodhan. See, Duryodhan was such an envious soul. He was not satisfied that the Pandavas are in the forest for 13 years and they'll be suffering there. And usme se 12 years are in the forest and 1 year is Agyatwas. And in that time we can catch them also. He's not satisfied. He actually gets ready to, he tells Karna and Shakuni and all these people ki mujhe chain nahi baith raha hai. Because they will come back after 12, 13 years and then they will fight. They will ask for, let's kill them now only. So Karna also says yes. And they actually take a small, battle ke liye, small group of soldiers they take and they're about to leave. And Vyasdev comes at that point. Vyasdev comes to know. And Vyasdev comes there and he stops Duryodhan. He says, Kya, kahan ja rahe ho? Where you're going? Please go back, So out of fear of Vyasdev, not out of respect, out of sheer fear of Vyasdev, he knows who is Vyasdev. He is literary incarnation of the Lord. So, and he's also, in their lineage, he's also grandfather, great-grandfather. So out of fear, he goes back. And then after that, what happens is, at one point, Vyasdev, Duryodhan is so envious that he says that somehow I must destroy this, these Pandavas, let them get cursed. So when Durvas Muni comes to Hastinapur, he gives him very great hospitality, serves him like anything. Wonderful service he gives him. And after that service, Durvas Muni is very pleased. So Durvas Muni is incarnation of Lord Shiva. So he's very easily pleased and very easily angered also. So he's very pleased. He says, very good. I'd like to give you a benediction. Some boon I want to give you. He says, I don't want any boon. My only request is you go to, the forest where my brothers are living there. And you go after Draupadi and Yudhishthira have eaten. Then you go there and, go with your disciples. Go and meet them for prasad. So Durvas Muni says, okay, he goes. And then after he goes there, the pastime is very beautiful. I'm not going to details. But again, Draupadi is in great anxiety because after she has eaten from that, that vessel which has been given, Akshay Patra, which has been given by Lord Suryadev, after she finishes eating, it cannot produce any more food. But till she is not eaten, any amount of food unlimitedly will keep producing. So he comes after, so she's so worried. And she again, when the devotees are in great anxiety and they don't know what to do, they take shelter of Krishna. So she immediately starts praying, Lord Krishna, please somehow save us. And Krishna manifests. Imagine, out of nowhere, in the middle of jungle, he just turns up there and he says, Arey, Draupadi, he says, she comes there and he says that, I'm a little hungry. Kuch milega kya khane ko? She's like, already ye 10,000 disciples ke saath ye Durvas Muni aaye hain. I'm not able to serve them. And now you have also come, my Lord, and you're also hungry. I can't serve you. She's feeling more morose about that I can't serve you also. Because, okay, Akshay Patra is finished. So then Krishna says, oh, vessel leka kuch to rahega. He finds one small grain and he takes that grain. And when he eats that grain, all, Durvasa and his 10,000 disciples who are going to take bath, they burp very loudly. Loudly they belch. It's like damn heavy, जैसा कि बहुत कुछ खाया है, and then Krishna says, Bhima जाके जरा उनको लेके आओ, please just जाओ. So Bhima goes with his gada that my brother has, organized prasad, and then like that, they say they run away from there because they don't want to displease Yudhishthira. Maybe Yudhishthira has made so many different vyanjan for us, and we don't turn up, बहुत खराब होएगा. So they run away. So Arjuna is remembering that so many ways Krishna, he saved me, and he's being very grateful about it. A few days back, our Brajbihari Prabhu, this whole theme, lot of the verses in this section of the chapter, they show the gratitude that Arjuna is showing. Gratitude and also this feeling that, we are nothing. We feel that ahankar vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Vimudatma, one is foolish. We feel I am the doer. Maine kiya. Malum hai kya, kisne kiya, maine kiya. We become very proud, we are very foolish. But Arjuna he's very, very candidly, he's acknowledging that everything was done by the Lord. He's understanding that. And Brajbihari Prabhu made a very amazing point. He said that this gratitude that Arjuna is showing, is right. At what point he's showing? He's showing when everything is taken away from him. He's there, at that point. So he says this point that if we are not grateful for what Krishna has given us, what has Krishna given us? Everything. मतलब ऐसा कोई चीज है जो आप बोल सकते हैं ये भगवान ने नहीं दी, ये मेरा खुद का है. Everything God has given us. Even the skills, the intelligence, the ability with which we earn money, with which we buy things, we do things, all of that is given by the Lord. So, he's saying that if we are not grateful for what Krishna has given us, then how will we be grateful when he takes away? And he will take away. There will come a point in your life when slowly, your looks will go away, your hair will go away, your body's ability to walk will go away, your teeth will go away, your hearing will go away, your sight will go. Everything is going to go away, and ultimately, Sharir is also going to go away. So when we are getting so much, we are not grateful. When it is taken away, how will we be grateful? It's a very powerful point he had made. So we should also learn, like Arjuna, to see the hand of Krishna, the invisible hand of Krishna in everything that is happening to us in our life. If it is a good thing, we should see Krishna's hand. Krishna, thank you. I didn't deserve this. I have not done anything to earn this, but my Lord, you gave me this. Thank you so much. We see the hand of Krishna. And when something negative happens, when something unfavorable, something that causes misery happens, that time also we should see the hand of Krishna there also. We should see the hand of Krishna there also when something negative happens. Why? We see that, my Lord, I am so sinful. I am such a horrible person. But still, my Lord, you have been so kind to me. You gave me, but you gave me so little. I deserve much worse. I deserve much more suffering than you have given me, my Lord. You are so kind. You are so merciful. So seeing the hand of Krishna in everything, that is what Arjuna is seeing. And in this today's verse, he's specifically speaking about this pastime. This is when they were in the forest, right? They have gone to the forest. And after this incident happened of Duryodhan, coming with a small army to kill them in the forest, ambush them and kill them in the forest. So Vyasdev, after telling Duryodhan, he goes to meet Yudhishthir. And in the forest, good big discussion is going on, where Yudhishthir and all the Pandavas, they're having a discussion. Draupadi is speaking, Bhima is speaking. Draupadi is telling, Yudhishthir, that what is this, that happened to us? Aisa kaisa ho paye? How is it possible that, you are such a virtuous person? You have never given up virtue for anything. In any situation, you have never given up virtue. But still we are suffering. That Duryodhan over there must be enjoying. He must be laughing at us. और हम लोग बेवकूफों जैसे इधर forest में we are suffering like fools. So she makes that statement, and Yudhishthir very beautifully, he counters by saying that no, it is not like that. He says that this is the influence of time. It is the will of the Lord that we have to suffer now. So just because somebody else acted unvirtuously, that doesn't mean we should act unvirtuously and go, and we have promised. He said, I have promised that I will not come back for 13 years. So now I'm not going to go back and reclaim the kingdom. For 13 years I will wait. Then Bhima says that, what is the use of us being there? हम लोग इतने powerful हैं, हम लोग जाके लड़ेंगे ना, we'll fight. Then Arjuna, Yudhishthira tells him also that, yeah, I understand your desire, burning desire to fight, to kill Dushasan, to kill Duryodhan. I understand. He's saying, but you also understand that ऐसा तो नहीं है कि those people over there, he says that on their side they have Dronacharya, they have Bhishma, they have Kripa, they have Karna, they have Shalva. All these people, Shalya, all these people are Maharathis. If we go and fight, they are obliged to fight on behalf of Duryodhan. We will have to fight with these people now. And we will be in the wrong at this time. ये time को अगर हम लोग जाके गए, because we have promised we will wait for 12 years, 13 years. If we go and fight now, we will be in the wrong. So how can we go now? So Bhima is also scratching his head. Barabar hai. So this discussion is going on. At that time, Vyasdev appears there. And Vyasdev tells them, he speaks to Yudhishthira, and he tells them that don't worry, it's all right. This is Lord's arrangement. And then he actually takes Yudhishthira aside. And he says that, see, it is very, very unlikely that Duryodhan is going to give you back your kingdom after 13 years. Very unlikely. So he said that in order to fight people like Bhishma, Drona, who have celestial, they've been trained by Parashuram. Supreme Lord has trained Bhishma and Drona. तो मतलब वो कुछ कच्चे खिलाड़ी तो नहीं है. Your Arjuna is your best hope. And Arjuna has to also be trained by celestials. He has to get the celestial weapons. Then he can fight with these people. Otherwise, there is no possibility. So then he gives him a mantra called Pratismriti mantra. Pratismriti mantra. He gives him this mantra. He says, you give this mantra to Arjun. He says, with this mantra, one can very quickly cross long distances. They're staying in a forest somewhere south of Hastinapur, right? So very quickly they can cross this long distances, and they can, he says that he can go to the Himalayas, and the Himalayas he can go there and he can propitiate the Devatas. He can, take blessings from Devatas and take their weapons. So Yudhishthir says, all right. So he gives him this Pratismriti mantra and he goes. Vyasdev goes. Now after he leaves, Yudhishthir doesn't immediately give the mantra to Arjuna. Why he doesn't give? Because there is so much love. See, he knows that the moment I give this mantra to Arjuna, immediately he will leave for the Himalayas. Turant. वो एक मिनट भी रुकेगा नहीं. Right? So Yudhishthira has so much love for Arjuna that he says that no, a few more days I'll wait. And then after that, he calls one day, he calls Arjuna. And he tells him that this is what Vyasadeva has said. He's given this Pratismriti mantra. And I'll give you this mantra. And after this mantra, you go to the Himalayas and you do austerities over there, get the blessings of Lord Shiva, and get the blessings of Lord Shiva and all the the heavenly weapons you get. So Arjuna takes bath, he takes, and he's initiated by Yudhishthir on this Pratismrita mantra. And immediately he gets ready to leave. When he's leaving, all the Pandavas are in great, because there's so much love, This is something that devotees should also aspire for. As Vaishnavas, as a community of Vaishnavas, many of us come together on every Sunday. There are the regulars, right, who come every Sunday for Bhagavatam. You can always know who are the people who are there every Sunday. So, we are a small community. This community should be like this, tightly knit, like what Yudhishthir and all the Pandavas are there. There was so much love between, even if there's disagreement, right? Like we said, there was a disagreement between Draupadi expressed. She's not that, no, I'll not say Yudhishthir ko main kaise bolu. Usne express kiya. And Yudhishthir ne usko bola nahi, chup, main jo bolta tu sun chupchap. He logically explained to her why what she's saying is not correct. Bhima also expressed his disagreement. Logically he explained to him why what he's saying is not correct. Right? So there is disagreement, but that doesn't affect the relationship. There's so much love between them. So that love was so thick. That is the love that we have to aspire for, amongst each other. Unity, love, that always, focused on serving Krishna. So that kind of relation should be there. So they all came to meet Arjuna, and when they're meeting him, Draupadi speaks to him. Everyone speaks to him, and then Draupadi, it's mentioned in Mahabharata, Draupadi speaks to him, says that, oh hero, you're going for this wonderful quest now. I pray that you are successful. Let whatever aspirations you have, let them be fulfilled. And she says that I pray that we are never born as Kshatriyas again. She says that I pray that none of us are ever born as Kshatriyas again. This ghastly, situation that Kshatriyas go through. I don't want that any of us go through again. So go, hero, be successful. So then Arjuna leaves, and very quickly he reaches the Mandara mountain somewhere in the middle of the Himalayas. Very beautiful description is given of the Mandara mountains. Blue, it's like a plateau. जैसा अपना सह्याद्री का plateau है ना इधर, tabletop वैसा. It's beautiful plateau, bluish mountain with very nice, lots of cuckoos, peacocks, and everyone, a lot of birds singing. Beautiful environment. So he reaches there, and he reaches a particular spot and decides, ki chalo, I'll do my austerity here. So as he's just sitting down, he hears a voice, stop, halt, right? So he looks and he says, Kone? And he sees one Brahmana sitting there, So Arjuna has come with his Gandiva and his quiver and everything, because... So when he goes there, that Brahmana tells him, stop. Brahmana tells him, he says, this is the abode of peaceful Brahmanas. This place is the abode of very peaceful Brahmanas. We all sit here and we do nice austerities, very nice, peacefully we do our tapasya over here. तो आप ये सब गांडी वांडी सब लेके आए हो. He says that for you to come here also, obviously you're not an ordinary person. He tells Arjun, obviously you're not an ordinary person, otherwise you could not have even come here. ये जगह normal humans के लिए है ही नहीं. Okay? You couldn't have come here. But then after you have come here, now that you have come here, he says that अभी ये तपस्या का जगह है, आपका weapons सब छोड़ दो और यहाँ बैठ के आराम से तपस्या करो. So then Arjuna says, "No, O Brahmana, thank you for your blessings upon me, but I cannot give up my weapons." He says, "Why?" He says, "I cannot give up my weapons because," he says, "I need these weapons to serve my brother Yudhishthir. My brother Yudhishthir has been wrongfully, his kingdom has been taken away from him. So if I give up my weapons, then how will I serve my brother?" So he's not that I am Kshatriya, mera weapons hai. No. He is that I can't do my service. My service to my brother is to help him. So if I don't have weapons, how will I serve him? So he says, sorry. So that the Brahmana immediately replies that, "Oh Arjuna, I am very pleased with your, your attachment to your duty. You're not giving up your duty, you're very attached to your duty." And he says that, "I am Shakra." ऐसा ही कुछ background music था वहाँ पे. Where Arjuna was, beautiful in the Mandar mountain. Nice music going on like this. So he says, "I am Shakra." Shakra is Indra. He says, "I am Indra and I am pleased with your dedication to duty. Please ask for a boon." And Arjuna is ecstatic, right? Why is he ecstatic? For so many reasons. First, मतलब उसने properly austerity शुरू भी नहीं किया, and already the person, he is gone there to propitiate the devatas. And devtaon ke, the king of the devata, Indra, has already come. That is one reason. Second, Indra is Arjuna's father. He's his father. So he's ecstatic. He's so happy. He says, "My Lord, I'm so grateful. Immediately you have given me your darshan." He says, "You please, if you want to give me a boon, please give me your weapons. I have come here to get these weapons so that I can then go back and, help my brother in the war." So Indra says that, "Why you want weapons? I can allow you to live in the heavenly planets. You can live in the heavenly planets. Weapons लेके क्या करोगे?" Arjuna says, "No." He says, "उनको heavenly planets में रहने का कोई शौक नहीं है. I want the weapons so that I can, I can serve, I will serve my brother with that." So Indra is again very pleased. Indra tells him that first you be here, you do austerities, you do tapasya, and you pray to Lord Shiva. And after you meet Lord Shiva, then, I will give you all my weapons. Okay. So this is also a pastime, right? Whenever there's a pastime involving the Supreme Lord or his, his expansions, the other members of the, the mandali, the drama mandali, other members of the drama mandali are playing supporting cast. So here, the pastime is that Lord Shiva is going to meet Arjuna, or Arjuna is going to meet Lord Shiva, right? And for that, Indra plays the facilitating role. He says, "पहले आप शिव जी से मिलो, फिर मैं आपको weapons देता हूँ." नहीं तो weapons लेके निकल जाता था ना. He would have got the weapons, he would leave. So he says, "Okay." So then Arjuna, he starts, meditating. And the description that is given in the Mahabharata of how Arjuna meditates, okay, that is also something. It is said that he takes a bath. There's a nearby river. In that river, beautiful river, he goes, he takes a bath, and then he starts his meditation. And it is said in the first month of his meditation, very similar to Dhruv Maharaj, So Dhruv Maharaj ka kis tarah se he did austerity. The same kind of way Arjuna also did tremendous austerity. Okay. During the first month of his meditation, Arjuna only ate fruit on every third day. Right? 3 dinon mein ek baar he would eat some fruits. So you can imagine that, हम लोग को एकादशी को fruits खाने को बोला, पूरा दिन खाली fruits का और कुछ नहीं, वो भी हमको difficult पड़ता है. And वो एक एकादशी हो गया, जब बस हो गया, अभी कहाँ फास्ट ब्रेक करना है, बताओ, चलो फटाफट, राइट? वी आर इमीडिएटली सब रेडी रहता है खाना कि फास्ट ब्रेक करने का है, राइट? वी आर सो फोकस्ड ऑन ईटिंग आवर अन्ना. हियर Arjuna ate fruit on every third day. During the second month, After 1 month was over, he is worshipping Lord Shiva. And in the second month, he ate fruit. He ate fruit. In the second month, he ate fruit only every 6 days. 6 दिनों में एक बार he was eating fruits. During the third month, he ate fruits only once in a fortnight. 15 दिन में एक बार, मतलब महीने में 2 बार बस he was eating. And during the fourth month, he stopped eating. Very similar to Dhruv Maharaj. He was living only on air. Okay, standing, with his on the tips of his toes, with his arms upraised like this, chanting the names of Lord Shiva, and very deeply engaged in his meditation. And only thing he used to do is to bathe 3 times a day, and he kept his mind and senses under perfect control, only surviving on air. ये भी एक amazing thing है, these yogis, how they do it. Even now, there are a few yogis who are like that, who you don't see them, you can't catch them eating. ये खा रहा है देखो. Very less, hardly any eating, hardly sleeping, nothing. They're just doing their tapasya day in and day out, and they're surviving. There is this story where there was a person who was having ajgar vritti, just lying down on the floor, just lying down on the floor with his mouth open. And if something falls into the mouth, he will eat. If nothing falls, he will go hungry. But he was quite well built. He was quite, as a fatty, despite having this kind of vritti. So the Lord maintains everybody. First of all, you have to understand, Lord maintains. If someone is so focused on worshipping and pleasing the Lord and serving the Lord, then the Lord maintains. So like this, he was doing very, very heavy austerity. And as a result of his austerities, Arjuna's body started glowing like the sun. It started to glow like the sun. And the celestial rishis, they went and approached Lord Shiva. They went and approached Lord Shiva and they said that, hey Bholenath, Lord Shiva, this Arjuna, he is doing such austerity. The earth is getting dried up by his austerity. People are starting to, choke with the heat created by his austerity. तो आप please कुछ जरा जाके देखो क्या करना है. And Shiva says, no, don't worry, I'll go today and I will meet him. So Shiva goes, Lord Shiva goes, and he comes in the form of a hunter. He comes in the form of a very huge hunter. He comes in the form of a hunter, along with his wife Uma and Mother Parvati. She also comes. And both of them are dressed as hunter and hunter woman, hunter man and hunter woman. And all the hobgoblins and all the bhuta, preta, all these people who are along with Lord Shiva, they also come as the associates. So the men come as men, the women come as, dressed as beautiful women. They're all along with this, like a toli, of this hunter. They all come to that spot. So as Lord Shiva reaches that spot where Arjuna is performing his austerity, he sees that one demon is taken the form of a boar, shukar, big boar, and is running towards Arjuna to attack him. Okay, so when Lord Shiva sees this, he takes his bow and arrow and he's going to shoot, the arrow to the boar. At that time, Arjuna also opens his eyes and sees a boar coming to him from a distance. And he says that, see, I have not done anything to you, but you are coming to attack me, so I'm sorry, I will have to kill you. And he also lifts his Gandiva to kill the boar. At that time, Shiva in the form of the hunter tells him, hey, you don't kill, I will kill. I have seen him first. And Arjuna says, no, I have seen him first. And both of them shoot the arrow. Both the people's arrow hit the boar at the same time. And that boar, because he's a demon, his body is made up of almost like patthar jaisa. A large sound comes. And then that boar dies. And he takes his form of a demon again. And then, Arjuna tells the hunter that, Arey, tumko hunting ka rules malum nahi hai? How dare you? I was shooting the arrow, I was shooting. I saw this boar first, this demon first. I was shooting the arrow. How could you shoot your arrow at the same time? So, I killed him and you shot another arrow after I killed him. So the hunter says, you have not shot him. I have killed him. Tumhara arrow second aake laga and I saw him first. And then the big argument breaks out. No, I shot him first. So then Arjuna says, Savdhan, you have broken the rules of, hunting. So now I will kill you. I will fight with you. Hunter says, okay, done. Fight with me. And the hunter and Arjuna, they start fighting. So this fight is also given, a great description is given that Arjuna starts shooting all kinds of arrows from his Gandiva bow at this hunter. And the hunter is a big, tall person with a golden, his body is almost like golden jaisa lagta hai, very effulgent and big person. And over there, all the Uma and all the other associates of Lord Shiva, all of them are standing there and watching the show, right? And Arjuna shoots these arrows, and every arrow comes and hits this hunter, but hunter doesn't flinch. Usko matlab kuch farak hi nahi padta hai. He's like very comfortable. Aram se baitha hai, he's smiling. And then he's shooting arrows, and Arjuna is countering those arrows, and this is going on. And Arjuna slowly, पहले उन्हें क्या लगता है, अर्जुन को लगता है कि कोई मामूली हंटर है, ऐसा उसको निपटा दूंगा, but he is not able to. Now he starts shooting more powerful arrows, but he sees the hunter is not affected. वो is not even moving. मतलब वो ऐसा, it strikes his body, but he's not even able to shake him, and therefore he's bewildered a little bit, Arjun, and he congratulates. He says, well done, fantastic, mere arrows ko tum seh pa rahe ho, this is great, he says, he's quite amazed. And then he starts shooting, he starts suspecting maybe he's a yaksha or a gandharva, because ordinarily aise arrows ko koi गांडीव का जो arrow इतना force से निकलता है कि not everyone can bear it. Maybe he's some yaksha or somebody. So let me kill him. He starts using celestial weapons. He starts using, some mantra wala weapons he starts using. And as he's shooting those weapons also, this person is not affected at all. The hunter is just looking at him and smiling. And Arjuna is like, ye kya ho raha hai? What is happening over here? So, and his quiver, jo unka quiver rehta hai Arjun ka, that quiver is inexhaustible. Meaning, उसमें से arrows कभी खत्म ही नहीं होते. So suddenly he realizes, he puts his hand and there's no arrows coming out. The quiver has exhausted. So he gets bewildered. So he takes the Gandiva and he runs towards the hunter. And he tries to use the Gandiva like a club. And he tries to beat the hunter with the Gandiva. And when he beats him with the Gandiva, the hunter just grabs the Gandiva and it vanishes into his body. Now Arjuna is completely bewildered. Kya ho raha hai? What is going on, right? So then he takes his sword and with his sword he hits the hunter on his head. The sword breaks into various pieces. Now it's getting more and more different. Now Arjun starts becoming fearful. He becomes fearful that who is this person? Itna powerful kaun ho sakta hai? Right? That this is not making sense. He picks up rocks and boulders. He starts throwing them at the thing. He picks up trees and he starts hitting, with trees, and nothing is happening. And finally, and at the same time, the hunter is also fighting very effortlessly, but shanti se he is fighting with Arjuna, defeating. He's picked up trees, then hunter also picks up trees. Arjuna picked up rocks and boulders, he also picks up, and they are fighting. At one point, all the trees in that area, sab saaf ho gaya wahan pe, cleaning ho gaya. Deforestation ho gaya wahan pe. So then at that time, Arjuna and Shiva, Arjuna goes and starts beating that hunter with his bare hands, and Shiva also is beating, the hunter is also beating him. So after some time, what happens is literally they are like, wrestling, kusti chal raha hai unka. And Arjuna is getting really tired because he is not able to fight. And at one point, Shiva, that hunter is holding him, he just releases him like this. And Arjuna goes several steps back and he falls down almost unconscious. And he's not able to imagine what is going on over here, right? He's completely bewildered. And at that time, he thinks that मुझे तो लगता नहीं ये कोई और हो सकता है. This can only be Lord Shiva. So he goes to a distance and quickly from the sand there, he makes a small Shivlinga. And that Shivlinga, he takes some flowers and he starts offering those flowers on the Shivlinga. And when he is offering the flowers on top of the Shivlinga, he sees the same flowers falling on the head of that hunter. And then he says, yes, mera jo shak tha wo dur ho gaya. He goes and does full Dandavat Pranam in front of that hunter and says, my Lord, I am such a fool. I am so foolish that, I was fighting with you. I made a great mistake. Please forgive me. So the hunter is very pleased. He's very pleased with your fighting, with Arjuna's fighting. He says, oh Falguni, today you have satisfied me. Now this is the verse that Arjuna is referring to. This is what he's saying, that even though I was fighting with Lord Shiva, still he was satisfied. I mean, for Lord Shiva, who is Arjuna? Arjuna is ordinary human being. उसको ऐसा कोई मच्छर को ऐसा crush करता है. He could have crushed him. But he's playing along. चलो लड़ रहा है, चलो हम भी लड़ते हैं, मजे करते हैं. Let's have some fun. So Lord Shiva, he says, I'm very pleased with you. You have satisfied me. He says, there is no warrior equal to you in courage or patience. So आपके जैसा इस world में कोई warrior नहीं है. So this is very interesting, this warrior and courage and patience that Lord Shiva is saying. Today, the warriors that we see, what are our warriors today? Our warriors, I'm not saying Indians, we don't get into battles, but the battles that are happening elsewhere in the world, all the fighting is happening using, guns and cannons and, missiles and like genuine fighting तो होता ही नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं कि battlefield में आए and एक दूसरे के साथ all shooting each other, weapons. Where is the courage? Sending a drone and वो drone में bombs डाल के मारा. मतलब remote control from 5,000 miles away. You remote control, send a drone and kill somebody. Where is the courage? When nobody can see also what is happening, someone sends a drone to kill. Where is the courage? And where is the patience? Everyone wants to do immediate, fatafat khatam karo, like that. Whereas a person like Arjuna, he is not looking, he will do his duty. As a warrior, as a fighter also, he will do his duty. He'll keep trying. Like with this hunter, though he was being defeated, he didn't give up. He kept trying. So this is a Kshatriya who doesn't give up the fight, continues, doesn't run away from the fight, right? So like that, he's appreciating. He says, O best of the Bharata race, your strength is practically equal to mine. He's appreciating that you're really powerful. And then he says that you were formerly a rishi and now have taken birth to serve the Supreme Lord's purpose. So he tells Arjun that you were the Nara Narayan Rishi mein, you were Nara. You were Nara and Lord Krishna was Narayan. So he says, you were Rishi and now again you have taken a birth. You have come again in this life. Why? To serve the Supreme Lord's purpose. So Lord Shiva knows this. He says that you may not know. I'm telling you that you are here mainly to serve the Lord's purpose. And soon you will acquire the weapons with which you will be able to defeat your enemies. Jai Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagavan ki. So he says you will acquire the weapons to defeat your enemies, even if they are celestials, even if they are very powerful, extraordinary living entities, you will be able to defeat them. And he says, now I shall bestow upon you my weapon. What is that weapon? The Pashupat Astra. So he says, I'll give you my irresistible weapon, the Pashupat weapon. And then he says, I will also now give you the eyes by which you can behold me in my original form. So he gives him, so at that moment, see, even to take darshan of Lord Shiva is not an ordinary thing, right? Lord Shiva is like expansion of Lord Vishnu only, just in a different form. That's all. So we should not feel, sometimes we say Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Okay, he is the greatest Vaishnav. But we should understand who he is also. Lord Shiva is not an ordinary person. He is not a living entity like you and me. He is eternal. I mean, we are also eternal. But he is like, he is Vishnu Tattva. So to see Lord Shiva, also you need special vision. So he says, I will give you my darshan. And then in front of Arjuna, he sees Lord Shiva in his beautiful form, with his, with his jata, and his beautiful transcendental face, and with the snake around his neck, and with the trident in his hand. And he sees this transcendental form of Lord Shiva. And he, pays obeisances. And Lord Shiva then gives him this Pashupat Astra. And he explains to him how it is to be used. He tells him that aise aise isko use karna hai. And he tells him that you will only use it against the celestials. Don't use it against human beings, or it will cause complete destruction. Because this Pashupat Astra is the Astra that is used by Lord Shiva at the time of universal destruction. Because we say, Lord Brahma creates, Lord Vishnu maintains, and Lord Shiva has the service of destroying everything. So for destruction, he uses Pashupat Astra. So he says, don't use it for ordinary human beings. Use it only for celestials if you're fighting. So he gives him this, and then he leaves. Lord Shiva, along with his whole toli, they all leave. So Arjun takes the blessings of Lord Shiva, Mother Parvati, and he leaves. And after Lord Shiva leaves, Arjuna in his heart, he starts feeling, ecstatic. Why? Because first of all, he has been touched by Lord Shiva. Because Lord Shiva held his hand, Lord Shiva wrestled with him, very close, intimate. They were fighting, but still it was very intimate and close association. So he's feeling very amazed at that. And then he feels that I have this Pashupat Astra. He starts feeling invincible. He says that, he knows that I can't use this Pashupat Astra on the Kurus. But just having the blessings of Lord Shiva and having his Pashupat Astra makes him feel invincible. He said that this war is as good as won now. We are going to, whenever this war happens, it is as good as won. And while he's thinking like this, what happens is, all the demigods, all the devatas, one by one start manifesting in that place. It's a very amazing pastime. You read this in the Mahabharata, just one after the other things are happening. Arjuna is just receiving. So first he sees Varuna. Varuna comes. Then he sees Kuvera. Kuvera comes. Then he sees Lord Yamraj. Yamraj is coming in his chariot. He sees Indradev and Sachi, his wife, coming on their grand elephant carrier Airavat. So he sees all of them coming. And, Yamraj first speaks to Arjun. And he says that, oh, Arjun, he gives him his mace. He has a special mace, Yamraj. So he gives him that mace. He says, this is for you to fight. And Yamraj says that in the future, Arjun, you are going to be fighting this battle. And in this battle, you will be defeating all the Kurus. And there will be many Daityas also, many demons also who are going to be fighting against you. Right? You can use this weapon to defeat the Daityas also. It's a very powerful weapon. Then after that, Kuvera, Varuna gives him the Nagpash. Nagpash noose, which is used. This Nagpash was used by Indrajit to capture Shri Hanuman. Hanuman ji ki jai. So it was used by him. And when he used Nagpash on Hanuman, Hanuman could have easily broken out of it. Unko koi taklif nahi tha. But out of respect for Nagpash hai, Varun ji ka weapon hai, to usko, I should respect it. And plus he wanted to see Ravan. So therefore he did not, So this Nagpash noose he gives to Arjun. Then Kuvera gives him another weapon called Antardhanam. And he says, with this weapon, even even asuras who have great Mayavi Shakti, they will get baffled, they will become unconscious. So he gives him that. And then Indra, Indra tells him that I will send a chariot, and with that chariot you can come to the heavenly planets. So all these demigods have given him different weapons, and when they give him these weapons, they all disappear. Indra also disappears, and then Arjuna sees like a sun, another sun is rising. Tremendous effulgence he sees suddenly coming towards him. And he sees that the chariot of Indra, which is driven by Matali is the driver of Indra, that chariot is coming towards him. And when he sees that chariot is driven by many horses, and extremely effulgent, filled with all kinds of weapons. So in that chariot, which goes at the speed of mind, he reaches the Amaravati. Amaravati is the capital of Indradev. He reaches over there. And in Amaravati, when he comes there, so it is a beautiful description is given of the heavenly planets. I'll not go into it over here, but a very beautiful description, right? The Nandan gardens where the devatas and the apsaras are sporting, and beautiful. He sees the Airavat. He says the Airavat has 4 tusks. Most elephants have 2. Airavat has 4, and it is so huge. He says that it appears like 4 peaks. Such a massive elephant, Airavat. So he's seeing all this, in Amravati. And in heavenly planet, he in the self-same body, as it is mentioned in this verse today, in the self-same body, he reaches there. He reaches the heavenly planet. And in that planet, after he goes to the Sabha Graha, where Indra is holding his Sabha, and Indra comes down from his throne. He welcomes him, holds him by the hand, embraces him lovingly. My son has come. Right? जैसा कोई भी पिता अपने बेटे को बहुत समय के बाद देखेगा तो कितने प्रेम से उसको वेलकम करेगा, right? So very lovingly embraces him and he brings him to the top, makes him sit next to him on the throne. Throne बाजू में उनको बिठाते हैं, and very lovingly he caresses his head, and very nice, takes care of him. And then after that, he's told to live in the palace of Indra. Now imagine, who is Arjuna? Human being, right? Human being, while still alive, gets to go to the heavenly planets, and he lives there for 5 years. 5 years he lives in the heavenly planets. That is how Mahabharata describes. So when he goes there, in the Indra's palace, he is taught the use of all the different celestial weapons that he has received. So Indra personally teaches him how to use these weapons. And he also teaches him how to use the Vajra. His own personal weapon, he gives him Vajra, and he says how to use it. And then after all this is over, he tells him कि अच्छा आप एक काम करो, ये चित्रसेन है ना, गंधर्व चित्रसेन, आप ना you go to him, and from him you learn the art of singing and dancing also. So Arjuna is a little confused. Why should I learn singing? I am Kshatriya. He's a little confused. But he thinks that, if my father has told me something, खुद सोच के ही बोला होगा, right? And we should also have that faith, if our parents tell us something, we should know that they are always our well-wisher. Parent, no matter what, till whatever, unless it's a really very rare case, no matter how the parent may be, mostly the parent is always a well-wisher. Sometimes the advice that they give us, हमको वो पटता नहीं है, हमको वो agreeable नहीं लगता है. But we should understand the parent is always a well-wisher, and they have दूरदृष्टि. Like parents sometimes say ना, मैंने तुमसे ज़्यादा दिवालियाँ देखी हैं, right? What is the meaning of that? That means they have seen life more than we have. They have experienced life more than we have. They know that ये किया तो आगे जाके ये वो होगा, ऐसा नहीं किया तो आगे जाके ऐसा होगा. They already know because they have seen more life than we have. So they tell us, you do this. We don't want to do it. They're telling us do it because आगे जाके ये अच्छा होगा. They tell us don't do this because आगे जाके ये बुरा होगा. But we are so foolish that we feel, no. I don't want to do all this. My father is saying this, I will do exact opposite. My mother is saying this, I will do exact opposite. That is foolishness, So anyway, so he says, okay. And he learns all the skills of the Gandharvas also from Chitrasen. So like this, this whole beautiful story. And Arjuna is remembering these two incidents. Why? Because he's saying both these things that happened are not possible without the grace of Krishna. He's saying that how is it possible that a fig like me, a mosquito like me, could have fought with Lord Shiva and pleased him? When you're fighting with somebody, how can they be pleased with you? It's not possible. It's only by the grace of Lord Krishna. Because Lord Shiva knows that I am devotee of Lord Krishna, therefore Lord Shiva has very lovingly, taken care of me. So Arjuna is remembering that. And also he's saying that how is it possible that in this human body, I was allowed to visit the heavenly planets and live there for so many years? He's not amazed just by the weapons. He's amazed that I was allowed to enter heavenly planets. How could I? Without the grace of the Lord, this also would not be possible, right? So very, very powerful 2 points Prabhupada makes in the purport. First, he says that the devotees of the Supreme Lord, the devotees of Krishna, those who are Krishna devotees, they know how to respect the devatas also. Srila Prabhupada never trained us to, you worship Lord Krishna, you do Ekala Ishvara Krishna, you only worship Krishna. But that doesn't mean that we, disrespect the devatas. They are higher than you. They are higher than you. उसमें कोई शक नहीं होना चाहिए कि हम भक्त हैं तो हम देवतास को, No, they are also devotees like you. And they are much better devotees than you. They are much more empowered than you. Lot of the things that you are doing on a daily basis are because of them. Water is coming because of demigods. Rain is coming because of devatas. Food is coming because of devatas. Everything, your sense of hearing, eyes, everything is coming because of intervention of devatas. So we can't say that devta log to matlab hum Krishna ke bhakt hai. We should understand that they are the empowered servants of the Lord. Like how we worship, how we worship the Supreme Lord. We may not worship them, but we don't disrespect. So Prabhupada trained us like that, we have to always respect the demigods. And Prabhupada makes a point here that the devotees of the Supreme Lord, they know how to respect the devatas. But devotees of devatas sometimes foolishly think that Supreme Personality of Godhead and devata is same. Koi farak nahi, sab ek hi hai. So that is their foolishness. And then another very nice point he makes connected to this, Prabhupada says that if one worships Krishna with sincerity, with our heart we worship Krishna, he says that by pleasing the Supreme Lord Krishna, we can achieve all favors. Like how Arjuna, by pleasing Lord Krishna, by being dedicated to Lord Krishna, he got everything. He got all the weapons, he got everything. Sab kuch mil gaya unko. Right? But he says that the devotees or worshippers of the devatas, they may achieve only partial benefit. And even the benefit that they get is temporary, because even the demigods whom they are worshipping, the devatas whom they are worshipping, they are also temporary. Right? So therefore, we have to understand that as devotees of the Lord, we worship Krishna. Actually, everything is contained within that. Like yesterday's verse, that verse where Durvas Muni, the connected verse with that is Yasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtam. There's that if the Lord Krishna is pleased or satisfied, the whole world is satisfied. That is the verse in that connection. That if Lord Krishna is satisfied with that one grain that he ate, whole world will be satisfied. So Krishna is like the root of the tree. He's like the root of the tree. If we water the root of the tree, automatically the trunk, the branches, the leaves, the fruits, flowers will all get their, will get the water. So this is one important point. Another point, powerful point that Prabhupada makes, and controversial point, but Prabhupada makes this point. He says that only persons who have only virtues. Okay, those who have shown great virtue in their life, they have performed sacrifices, they have been giving charity, and they have undergone severe austerities. Performing sacrifices, giving charity, and undergoing severe austerities, right? Only such persons can be allowed to enter into the heavenly planets after the duration of life in this body. ऐसा नहीं है कि इतना आपने ऑस्टेरिटी किया, सब किया, तो इसी बॉडी में आप हेवनली प्लैनेट जाओगे. नो, दिस बॉडी इज नॉट suited for heavenly planet. So you will have to necessarily give up this body. Then if you have done enough austerity, enough charity, enough, tapasya you have done, then only after leaving this body you can go back to the heavenly planets. Otherwise it's not possible, right? So Arjuna was allowed to enter into the heavenly planets in the self same body. In this body itself he was allowed to enter into the heavenly planets simply by the grace of the Lord. We hear that story of Trishanku, who wanted to, King Trishanku, who wanted to enter into the heavenly planets in the same body. And whom did he approach? Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra, by his, tapobal, he tried to push him into the heavenly planets, but the heavenly planets pushed him back. Like even in this world, we have that, no? That I may have great money and great, bank balance, but that doesn't enable me to just get into the, United States of America. I can't go to USA just because I have a lot of money. They say, no, sorry. तुम्हारा 3 साल के बाद वीजा आएगा, तब तक बैठे रहो, right? So unless we have qualification, we can't go. Even in the material world, it's not very difficult to understand. Even in the material world, in the world that we all live in, it is very difficult to go to any place unless you are qualified. Right? So some qualification is needed. That qualification is not there, you can't go to those places. In the same way, Prabhupada is saying that simply by mechanical means, it is not possible to go to the higher planetary system, right? That, people who are saying they have gone to the moon, they are going to Mars, this, that, another. Prabhupada is saying it's not possible. By mechanical means, you can't go unless you have this. The words that Prabhupada uses, they don't have sufficient sacrifice, sufficient charity, sufficient, credits of sacrifice, charity, and tapasya. You don't have. You can't go. And finally, one of the main themes of this chapter, right? And I'll end with this, which is this theme of viraha bhav that Arjuna is facing, right? That Arjuna, previous chapter se shuru hua, it is continuing in this chapter. This lamentation that the Pandavas are feeling that Krishna has left, right? And we see in many chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam, various places, we see Uddhava lamenting that Krishna has gone. We see Kunti Maharani lamenting that Krishna is now leaving us and we don't know when we'll see him again. We see so many devotees lamenting in Srimad Bhagavatam that the Lord has left. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he leaves, all his followers are devastated. Right? So sometimes we wonder, ki kya hai? What is this, viraha bhav? What is this feeling of separation? Gopis are talking about it, that Krishna has gone and he's not coming back. So what is this viraha bhav, right? Why we don't understand it? We feel sometimes when we read, I speak for myself, I don't speak for you. All of you are wonderful devotees. I speak for myself. When I read some of these chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm wondering what's the big deal? क्या इतना ये लोग lament कर, ठीक है भगवान चले गए तो इतना क्यों, इतना सब, why so many pages after pages in Srimad Bhagavatam it is mentioned that Lord has left, and they are lamenting like this. So I was just thinking about it. The reason why we don't feel anything, we have no love. We have no love for Krishna, not at all, not a drop of love we have in our heart. Therefore, we are not able to appreciate the sentiments of devotees who are in this viraha bhav. हमारे वो पल्ले ही नहीं पड़ता, ऊपर से चला जाता, हमको वो सेंटिमेंट ही नहीं है, राइट? बट एंड वी फील लाइक इट इज नो बिग डील, वी फील इट्स नो बिग डील, बट for the pure devotees of Krishna, of the Lord, it is like complete devastation. So let me give an example so that we can understand, right? Now imagine all of you must be having some form of, savings, bank balance. Many of you may be having. And we put that bank balance, whatever we have, in different instruments, right? Someone puts in fixed deposit, someone puts in shares, someone puts in whatever, alag, right? Whatever you invest in, mutual funds and so on. Now you imagine if you take all the money that you have and you put it into some bank. जैसा अभी रिसेंटली हुआ वो पंजाब एंड सिंध, क्या नहीं, पंजाब एंड महाराष्ट्र कोऑपरेटिव बैंक. यू पुट ऑल योर लाइफ सेविंग्स, रिटायर हो गया, जो भी पेंशन फेंशन सब कुछ उसी में डाल दिया, वो बैंक में डाल दिया. ऑल द मनी दैट यू हैड, okay, you don't have any money in any other bank. Why you put there? Because they are giving best interest rate. They are giving 8% FD rate, whereas everyone else is giving 6%. So आपने सोचा चलो सब इधर ही डाल देते हैं यार, अच्छा है, इधर तो इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा. एंड वो बैंक ही डूब गया. What will you feel? Devastated. क्या करूं क्या? And then we start running pillar to post. अरे कुछ करो कुछ करो. We start going on social media. We start talking about it because we are desperate to get our money back and there is no hope of getting it back. कोई उम्मीद ही नहीं है. तो आप कितने desperate होंगे? कितना आपको दर्द होगा? How much pain you will feel if all your, thousands, lakhs, crores, billions that you invested in one share, if it's all gone in one day, how devastated you will feel. That is the feeling that these devotees are feeling. Why? Like we are giving example, because हमको सिर्फ यही समझ में आता है, पैसे की बात है तो हम लोग एकदम क्लियरली, एकदम कंसेप्ट एकदम बैठ गया दिमाग, हाँ बराबर है, सब चला गया तो हम एकदम खत्म हो जाएंगे. In the same way, these devotees have invested everything, 100% of their life, they have invested in Krishna. 100%. उन्होंने कुछ छोड़ा ही नहीं है कहीं, और उन्हें कोई धागा भी रखा नहीं है कि चलो थोड़ा एक सब शेयर में डाल दिया, थोड़ा सा पैसा ये एक एफडी में जस्ट फॉर सेफ्टी रखते हैं. नहीं, सब इसी में. They have invested everything into Krishna. And their attachment is so terrible attachment. They are so terribly attached to Krishna that to the point that they are so attached to Krishna, they are so invested in Him, that to the point that nobody else and nothing else means anything to them. उनको और कोई चीज का कोई मायने नहीं है, कोई वैल्यू नहीं है उनके लिए. They will do the needful, they will do their duty in the material world. But their heart, their mind is fully surrendered to only Krishna. These are the pure devotees, right? And because they are so attached to Krishna, they are so terribly attached to Him, they don't see anything else. In that situation, when Krishna leaves, it's gone. And they are still there, right? Uddhava, when Uddhava meets Krishna at Prabhas Kshetra, and when Krishna tells him that now I am going to leave very soon, all the Yadus are dead, all dead and gone, and now I am going to leave very soon. So Uddhava says, Prabhu, mujhe bhi leke chalo. I don't want to be here now. He cannot tolerate the separation. And Krishna tells him, no. You go to Badrika Ashram, you do austerities there, you go to this thing, there you will meet so and so. He gives him full instructions, And Uddhava is devastated that how will I stay alive, my Lord, if you are not there? But Lord says, no, you go. And he goes, right? So that pain that they feel, it's like someone who is like a multi-billionaire, who is like Arabpati, suddenly becomes, beggar, becomes like an orphan. This is the situation that the Pandavas are going through. They were like Arabpati, where Krishna was literally there at their beck and call, like in the previous verse. Draupadi is in anxiety. She thinks of Krishna, and Krishna, Hajir, immediate. I mean, what kind of love he must be having for the Pandavas that he is thinking already they have gone through so much anxiety. Abhi ye Durvas Muni aa gaya aur taklif dene ke liye. So immediately he manifests. He'll just come there. He just goes there and he sorts the problem. That much intensity of love Krishna has for the Pandavas, that much love and association is given them. Now he has gone. That is that feeling of devastation, that feeling of viraha, that feeling of separation that the Pandavas and the pure devotees experience when Krishna leaves. So, what is the lesson for us? The lesson for us is the goal of our life also. See, we are so fortunate. We are so fortunate. हम लोग को अपना fortune का कोई अंदाजा नहीं है कि हम लोग कितना fortunate है. The fact that we are sitting here in Shri Radha Gopinath temple, taking darshan of their lordships, among so many wonderful Vaishnavas, beautiful temple hall, AC में एकदम चकाचक, नीचे अभी खिचड़ी भी है. You know, everything is just so wonderful. And we are getting to hear all Krishna Katha and everything. We are so fortunate, right? ये fortune हमको जो मिला है, we should never lose it. So goal of our human life has to be gradually develop this same kind of investment in Krishna consciousness. Today we are, हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? You know, like there was a man जो बैंक में गया और उसने बैंक में 1,000 रुपए डाले एफडी में, और 1 साल के बाद वो एफडी मैच्योर हो गया. तो बैंक से कॉल आ गया, भाई साहब आपका एफडी मैच्योर हो गया, आप आओ. तो आया तो उसको 700 रुपये दे दिया. 700 रुपये से क्या होता है बॉस? हाँ नहीं, 700 नहीं, कितना 70 रुपये दिया. 1,000 रुपया डाला था तो उसको 70 रुपया दिया. 70 रुपीज. 70 रुपीज में यहाँ आने जाने का रिक्शा का भाड़ा नहीं निकला. व्हाट इज दिस 70 रुपीज? तो बैंकर ने उसको बोला, भाई साहब आपने डाले 1,000 रुपये थे, तो 1,000 रुपये का 7% इंटरेस्ट कम्स टू 70 रुपीज. आप डालो ना 1 करोड़, तो फिर आपको भी 7 लाख इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा. आप खाली 1,000 डालोगे और आप सोच रहे हो कि मेरे को कुछ इंटरेस्ट मिल ही नहीं रहा है. सेम वे वी आर नॉट इन्वेस्टिंग इन आवर कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस सफिशिएंटली. इन्वेस्ट. व्हेन वी gradually increase our investment in Krishna consciousness to come to that point where at some point we are completely dependent on Krishna. Like वो शेयर में पैसा डाला और प्रे करो कि वो शेयर अभी ऊपर जाए, वो कंपनी का परफॉर्मेंस बहुत अच्छा होना चाहिए. रोज भगवान को एक भगवान ये कंपनी अच्छा जाना चाहिए. सेम वे इफ वी इन्वेस्ट इन कृष्णा, invest our life's energy more and more in Krishna, more and more proportion of our time in Krishna consciousness, we can also finally, by the end of our life, come to that point of complete dependence and complete sharanagati to Krishna. That is what Krishna is saying finally. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Ma sucha, do not fear. So with that confidence, without any fear, if we also invest like the Pandavas, we invest like these pure devotees in Krishna consciousness, our life will also be perfect and complete. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्रील गुरुदेव की जय. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी. हरि हरि बोल. श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय.
Hare Krishna. As you are all aware, and we have informed through the counselor and the mentor, that this year we will be celebrating our drama festival on 13th and 14th of January. And today is the day we would be accepting the application along with money for allocating the tickets in future. Thank you very much. The table for accepting the application, and also the money is downstairs, just in the courtyard. Thank you.